goes along the line so he can cut them in and out of what he has to do. The basics of archery is that shooting an arrow with a bow, it's got to be safe. Okay, it is a weapon, and we have to follow certain procedures. The only thing that makes archery unsafe are people. Okay, so if people behave themselves, there's no chance of anyone getting hurt. So for that, we expect once you come into the shooting area, there's no playing around. The person that's running the shoot, if he feels that you're making it unsafe for anybody, he will ask you to leave the shooting area. So this is all for your safety. Clothing. Clothing, it's important to remember that not to have anything hanging down, like that can get caught in the bow. If you've got a jacket on, do it up or remove it because it'll get caught in the cams otherwise. And it's general, just common sense in most things, so that you're not going to hurt yourself or somebody else. Okay, the bow we will be using in the club is the compound bow. The reason we're using the compound is it is adjustable. These are around about just under 30 pounds, but they can be wound down to lesser than that for you to be able to operate safely. So if we've got a smaller person, not as strong, we can wind it down so we're reducing the weight. Okay, the basic parts of the bow is the riser, which is the bit between the fingers, the handle, arrow rest, the limbs, the string, which is what we shoot with, and the cables, which gives it mechanical advantage. Wheels, now this bow has got a wheel and a cam. They can come with 2 wheels or 2 cams, or a mixture like this one. So all it does is when you pull back, it's giving you mechanical advantage on the bow. So when you're at full draw, the bow is about half the weight. So if we're pulling back a 30-pound bow, we're holding and aiming at around about 15 pounds. Okay, this part here is the little brass bit is called a nock, and the bit underneath, which some of the bows have, they're not all got it, is called a no glove. That's just to make it easier on your fingers. A lot have them, a lot don't like them. You have a choice. The arrow itself, we have a shaft, which is in this case it's aluminium. They can be fiberglass, or various types of materials, but we use the aluminium ones. We have a point at one end, and at the other end we have a nock. Both sharp. So if you drop it, that's why we insist that you must have enclosed sheathing, enclosed shoes, and it doesn't matter whether it lands that end or that end. If you've got bare feet, it is going to cause damage. The fletchers, you can call them fletchers, vanes, feathers, whatever you like, but they are just to give it a slight drag to keep the arrow directional. You'll notice they are a little bit off square, and there are 3 of them with one a different colour. The one that's a different colour is called the index fletch, and that is to let you know which way to put the arrow on. If you're a right-hander and you put the arrow in, the fletch will be looking at you this way with the arrow knocked underneath the actual nock itself. Okay? If you was to put it on the other way, you'll probably notice straight away that the fletch is going to hit the bow and cause you some problems. Okay? So you always put it on with your right or left hander looking at you. So it's on the same side as you are. Being a right-handed bow, I hold it in my left hand. Okay? If you're a left-hand shooter, you'll hold it in your right hand. So the right hand is my main hand, which is the one that I'll pick up the arrow out of the quiver, pick it up like so, take it over the top, place it in the nock on the arrow rest, and that's the position for it. Okay? The way we teach to shoot here is to hold your bow. We want you to hold, when you get out square, hold your hand out like a stop sign, turn it 45 degrees and close your fingers. Make sure you don't raise your shoulder. If you're going to be shooting with a high shoulder, you're going to hurt something. Okay? You keep the bones in line by keeping your shoulder down. With your hand like that, your bow will sit directly in there. Okay? Notice how I'm holding it, one finger. That's all you need. If you start grabbing it like that, you're going to take the energy out of the bow, and you can almost guarantee you're going to hit your arm with the string. Okay? By holding it that way, first off, you'll notice there's a bigger clearance between the string and your arm, and the bow will sit there. If you have a restraint on it like some of them do here, you can hold it like that and you don't even hold your bow. When I shoot with an open hand like that. I don't hold the bow at all. Okay, so if you grip it really tight, you're just going to hit your arm, hurt yourself, and the arrow won't go as well as you'd like it to. The way we teach the fingers to hold here is we just go like the scout sign. Okay, be an old scout master, I'm used to that. And the string goes in that part of the fingers. Use the second joint. There's more flesh on it. It doesn't stretch your hand. If you're holding it like that, you're stretching your hand and it hurts. Use that part, it's a more natural position, and the release is the same. It makes no difference. So your fingers go in there, and when you pull back to an anchor point, keeping your elbow in line. The whole arm, from the point of the arrow to the tip of the shoulder, should be straight. Okay? When you release, just open your fingers. Keep your hand there at the anchor point, open your fingers. Don't want to see any of this, any of that. It doesn't do anything except throw your arrow off. The range itself is roped off. Now the only time you can go into the roped off area is if you are going to shoot. Okay? You must enter and exit via the gateway. So you're not allowed to duck underneath under the ropes. When you come in here, you'll go to what we call the waiting line. When you're at the waiting line, what you do there is wait. Okay? So everyone comes along here and stands in line with a target. You will give the command to go to the shooting line or 2 blasts of a whistle. Okay? So at this stage we'll give 2 blasts of the whistle, which will go. Okay, and then you'll go to the shooting line. I'll go up to the shooting line. And you take your position with the centre of your body in the middle of the cones. So what you do then is you just get yourself squared up to where you will be shooting. Everyone must be at the same spot. If one stands back here, you're behind somebody and you've got a bow and an arrow. If you stand here, you're in front of somebody else. Okay? So we must all stand on the same line. When everyone's on the line, the person that's running the shoot will give 1 blast of the arrow. Okay? That means you can pick up your bow and you can pick up your arrow. Take your arrow and take it over the top of the bow, place it on the arrow rest with the index fletch looking at you. Okay? You can then shoot your 6 arrows. I'll be shooting 1 here only. Okay? So as we said before, the position of your hand, don't strangle the bow, hold it safely. Fingers, scout sign, underneath and pull back to your anchor point. Now your anchor point is going to be there. So I want you to pull straight back with the elbow pulling back straight to the anchor point on the edge of your mouth. Okay? So we'll just pull back, and I mightn't even hit the target with this back. Okay, so all nice and straight, and let's go. And I went underneath. So, okay, so when you're finished, you shot your 6 arrows, you'll then go back to the waiting line. And you'll wait here till everybody has finished their shoot. When everyone's back here, you'll get 3 blasts of the whistle, which means that everybody can go and collect their arrows at the same time. Okay? If you should drop an arrow, stay on the shooting line. Don't pick it up. So if it drops, stays on the ground. When everyone's back there at the waiting line, you'll be given the command to pick up your arrow. So you pick up your arrow and you put it back in the quiver. Then you'll be given the command to shoot that arrow or arrows. Okay? The reason you don't shoot it straight away is there could be someone there that you can't see that's doing the same thing. So until you're told to shoot the arrow, you just stay here. When everyone's back here, we'll then give the command of 3 blasts to go and collect your arrows. Whistles. Now, if at any time you get 5 whistles, it means an emergency. Something's happened. What you do then is you put your bow down, arrows down, and come back to the waiting line. Okay? So that's only if something, an emergency happens to get everyone back off the shooting line. So we've had our 3 blasts of the whistle. We now walk down this way side because they're very sharp, and you walk into them, they'll take your eye out. Okay? So when you come to pull them out, put your hand on the butt with your palm facing out. Make sure there's no one behind you. Okay? When you pull them out, grab the arrow as close as you can to the target and just pull it straight back. Put it under your thumb and hold it there. Pull all the arrows out. And when you've got your 6, you just square them up, hold it in that hand and put them under your arm like so. You carry them in that manner so that if you trip, they'll go into the ground, they won't go into your leg or somebody else. Okay? We then walk back and put them back into the quiver as such.